Hey guys, welcome back here to the living room floor for another little bit of wedding chat. Now, day to day, throughout my membership and in my in-person weddings as well, I work with a lot of DIY, really creative brides, and I get asked so often, what little things should we be DIYing and what little things shouldn't we be doing? So today I thought I'd go through some things that I often tell people to not DIY, as it can be a lot more work, a lot more complicated, a lot more time, a lot more money than people actually think. So today we have 10 things that I would tell you not to DIY. Although if you really want to, you can. I'm not telling you can't do these things, but this is just my opinion and my view on it, and I hope it really helps some of you in deciding what you are going to do and what you're not going to do. I'm sure we've met before, but if we haven't, my name is Beth, and this is my little wedding world, my channel where each week I give you hints, tips, stories and secrets into the wedding industry that will hopefully make sure that your planning journey is just way simpler, easier, less stressful and way more enjoyable too. So we'll get straight in with it today. 10 things that I think you should be avoiding when it comes to DIY, and I hope this helps cut a few decisions for you and makes the planning process that little bit easier. Okay, so when it comes to DIY, I often sit down with the couples or speak to people about it, and I say there's an awful lot to consider. It's not just deciding I'm going to do this project or I'm just going to do this, it looks really simple, I just have to buy it and then it's done. You have to really consider all the different elements that go into creating something. And this goes from buying the actual stuff to make the project, the things that you'll need to use, the glue, the paper, the scissors, the printers, all those different bits as well. You've also got to think about how you're going to store it. Is it going to be a huge thing? Is it going to take up loads of room in your house? How are you going to then transport that to your venue? Where you're going to store it before you set up? When you're going to set up? How you're going to set it up? And then equally, after the wedding, what you're going to do with that and how you're going to get rid of it. Have you got somewhere useful you can use it in your house? Are you going to sell it? Or are you just going to get rid of it and put it in the bin the next day? So there is an awful lot of things to consider when it comes to DIY and different projects, and you really don't want to take on too much. You want to make sure that you are taking on things that you can do, that you can manage, and that aren't going to completely take over your life and take away from any free time you've got between now and the wedding. So I really hope you enjoy these ideas, and it gives you a few pointers. Okay, so thing number one that I tell everyone, do not DIY this. Spend your money on it, because it's going to be the only thing that's left with you after your wedding is on your photos. There was a little bit of a trend of people not having a photographer and asking all their guests to take photos or a guest to take some pictures throughout the day, and that can become really complicated and really difficult to do quite quickly. Photographers are paid to be there for the full day and focus purely on you, look after your needs and get the photos you want. If it's a guest doing it or you've got a couple of mates filling in, it's often not quite the professional service you expect. They get distracted talking to people and you won't get those images that you really want. So although it has worked for some people in the past, I would highly suggest that you pay for a professional photographer and do not try and DIY your photos. My number 2 point on the list is talking about staffing. And there's a big trend to DIY your own bar, your own food, do a lot of your own decor, all that sort of thing. And people think they can do everything themselves, or just guests will go and kind of muck in and they'll do things on the day. It doesn't happen like that. It becomes a disaster. And any time I've worked with a DIY kind of bar setup, that sort of thing, and the couple have said to me that their mates are going to do it and they're going to pour the drinks and they'll clean up throughout the day, it's ended up absolute chaos. And within about half an hour of the bar being open, there's sticky drinks all over the side, the surfaces are all really just binging and horrible, bottles are kind of empty on the shelves and no one's refilling them, glasses everywhere, it just gets chaotic. Same goes if you're doing your own food and you're just going to put it out on a buffet table and everyone's going to help themselves. If you've got no staff looking after it, it just ends up messy, no one's clearing up plates, you're then coming into your evening do and there's bits of food around the place. So when it comes to staff, do not try and do this yourself. Hire in some staff, speak to local suppliers, see what's available to you, and make sure you've got a team of people who are not involved with your wedding day looking after that side of things. Friends never do the same. Number 3 on your list, on my list, on your list, is one that's a bit not controversial. Probably some will do some, but I don't advise you do all. And that is when it comes to flowers. Don't try and DIY everything, especially if you've got a lot of flowers, a lot of big displays, a lot of delicate fresh flowers, that sort of thing. It can be really complicated and really hard for you to DIY. So when it comes to flowers, think about small things that you can do. Dried flowers, great, you can make them in advance, get them done. They're not going to die because they're already dried, and you can just bring them out on the day and they're already there for you. Although store them carefully, as they have a tendency to kind of break and get damaged quite easily. But when it comes to fresh flowers, you can have services that will deliver you fresh cut flowers, and if you've just got a handful of bouquets and a few small simple vases on your wedding day, it's super simple to just pop those out on the day or the night before. Don't do them on the day, never leave flowers for the day. Do them the night before, have them in vases, it's quick, it's easy, and it's not going to take a lot of time. If you've got big displays, say you've got full-on mantelpieces to do, you've got huge centerpieces, you've maybe got a archway, or you've got a big staircase to decorate, that takes a lot of time, and flowers can't be done in advance. They need to be done literally the night before, and a lot of florists will do your flowers the morning of the wedding. So I highly suggest, if you've got lots of flowers, don't try and DIY them, get a florist in to look after that for you, so actually you can chill out and enjoy the night before your wedding and the morning of your wedding day, having your hair and makeup done, chilling out with all the girls and your friends and family, and let the professionals do it when it comes to flowers. Number 4 on the list, again, this started to become popular, people wanting to DIY their own food because they could make it so much simpler. DIYing picnic blankets, afternoon teas, simple buffets. Maybe you've got some incredible cooks in the family and you want them to get involved and do the food on the day. This is great, but go back to my other point, make sure you get some staff in to look after it. But I would highly suggest things on the wedding day that your guests remember the most is the food and the entertainment. So spending a little more on the food to have someone come and cater for you, especially on the big meals when it comes to the main meal of the day, is so worth it and so much easier for you to do. And it takes away so much that stress on your family on the day to actually just be able to enjoy it with you rather than rushing around making food, cooking it, getting it out on time, all those sorts of things. Sections I would suggest, maybe if you've got some keen bakers in the family and you do want to involve some family food on the day, is maybe adding a couple of extras to the meal that your caterer can serve with it. Maybe doing your own canapes if you can come up with something really simple so you can actually enjoy some of your family's cooking on the day, or maybe doing something like a dessert table, bake-off table, cake table, something like that where they can get involved on the day. But I would highly advise try not to do all your own catering on the day, as everyone will be too busy and really you just want to enjoy yourself on the day. Number 5 on the list, I just mentioned that food was really important and also the entertainment, and I would highly suggest if you've got the budget to do it, try and have some sort of professional musical entertainment with the evening. It is totally alright to set up a playlist throughout the day, a bit of background music throughout your ceremony, that sort of thing. But in the evening, I see the parties go so much better if there's at least a DJ there who is reading the room and doing the music to kind of suit everyone, rather than just being a playlist in the corner. So if you've got some extra money, I highly suggest a DJ. They will read that dance floor, get everyone up and dancing, and have a really great party. Okay, that brings me on to number 6, and this is a bit for the DIY brides, people who are having more DIY venues and bringing everything in themselves. And I've seen people do this in the past. Don't try and DIY your tablecloths. Sounds really stupid, sounds really simple. I've seen people in the past look at higher prices for tablecloths, look at how much it would cost them to buy them online, and just gone and bought them online and tried to bring them in, wash them themselves, iron them themselves, set it up, and then had a plan to sell them after the wedding, but you've still got to wash them and all that sort of thing. You've still got to store them, move them, lots and lots of things. Anyway, I just wanted to drop this one in there. If you are considering DIYing any of your laundry, I would say go for something small, maybe a napkin, something like that, that you can have in a specific colour, specific material that you can fold in a set way in advance. But when it comes to tablecloths, if you're having them, just get them hired in. It's really simple, so easy, and you don't have to deal with any of the hassle of cleaning them up afterwards either. Number 7, this is one that a lot of people are going to say they are going to DIY mainly because they want to save some money, and that is when it comes to hair and makeup. I would highly suggest that having a hair and makeup come, even if it's just for you as the bride on the wedding morning, is so worth it. It's the one day where you get to chill out and people get to look after you and do everything for you for a change. I have seen so many brides not have this service, and on the wedding morning they've been really stressed. And I don't know if anyone's like me, if I'm going out to a really nice event and I kind of prep and I want to do nice hair and makeup, it always feels like it doesn't go right. It never kind of sits right in your face, your hair won't curl properly, you've got flyaways going on, and it just gets really stressful. And then you get all hot and flustered and you get bothered, and then it goes even worse and worse and everything goes wrong and you can't get it sorted. So I would suggest, if you can, have a hair and makeup artist for yourself, sit back and relax on the wedding day and enjoy that. If you want to save some money, you don't necessarily have to have one for your bridal party, or you can offer this service to them if they want to pay themselves, but definitely focus on yourself and have a little pamper on the wedding morning. Number 8 on the list, I am going back to the DIY brides, more with your DIY wedding venues again, where it doesn't come included with everything. I would always suggest you don't try and buy all your own cutlery, crockery and glassware for the wedding day. Now, this was something that I hadn't come into contact with, because when I'd always worked with my couples, I've always suggested that you go to a local hire company. The hire company bring it in, you use it, you stack it back up dirty, they take it away, and it really doesn't cost that much. But I was once working with another bride, and she'd actually gone and bought all her own stuff for the day, and was going to use that and then sell it after the wedding. And yes, this sometimes works, especially if you can resell it, but it can be super expensive to have all this stuff bought in, and equally you then have to wash it, you have to box it back up, and you have to try and sell it somehow. So if this is you and you are thinking about doing this and you didn't know this service existed to hire it in, find a local hire company and they will do all that hard work for you and do all the washing up, so you don't have to do anything. Number 9, this is a bit of a safety announcement, because I've seen people DIY it in the past. It can go very right, but it can also go very, very wrong. I would suggest, if you want any fireworks on your wedding day, hire a professional service. This can be really expensive, so it's not in everyone's budgets to have. But doing your own fireworks on the wedding day is really dangerous, especially after lots of people have had drinks and everyone can kind of get a bit excited in the evening. I've seen things go wrong on wedding days. So if you're having fireworks, make sure you are going with a professional company. A lot of venues won't let you have them unless you're having a professional company. And as a little side note, if you're getting married in a more rural location, make sure you're speaking to your venue and to local farmers, things like that, and letting them know that you're doing that. I've come across problems with it in the past, where farmers and local kind of residents have been really upset that we've done fireworks because it's frightened the animals, or maybe there's kind of livestock in the local field or something, and they would have moved it out had they known. So just make sure you're asking that question, and yeah, ideally don't DIY your fireworks. Number 10 on the list. Do not try and do everything yourself and then organise your own wedding yourself on the day and coordinate everything too. I highly suggest, if you have the budget for it and your venue does not have someone to help you organise on the wedding day, you hire a day of coordinator, which is obviously what I do, so I'm throwing that in at the end. Day of coordinators relieve all the stress on you on the day. You hand everything over to them and they make sure all your decor's out, everything's sorted, your guests know where they're going, suppliers know what's happening, candles are lit, drinks are poured, everyone's fed, everyone's looked after, and they don't need to worry about anything. So if you've got that budget, try not to DIY and organise your own wedding on the day. Hand it over to a professional, let them deal with it, and you relax as you should on your wedding day. Okay, so that's it. My 10 things that I do recommend to my couples they don't DIY and they do hire in the professional services. I am going to follow this video up with things that I do recommend that you DIY on the wedding day, as I know it can save a lot of money on that budget. So I will follow that up very soon, but I really hope you enjoyed these suggestions. As I've said, it's not a list of things that you cannot DIY on your wedding day. So many do DIY these things, so many do it successfully, and it can be done. But try and limit what you try to take on yourself. Try to make it a manageable amount, stuff you know you've got time for, things that you're going to really enjoy as well, and don't stress out about these things. If you need to hire a professional service, there are so many different options out there at all different budget levels. Go out there and have a look, and you may be really, really surprised. So we shall leave it there for today. I hope you've really enjoyed this video. If you haven't done so already, please give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. We are getting even more closer to my end of year goal. We are now in December. It's a big goal. Please subscribe if you haven't done already, and just help me get there, please, guys. And if you've really enjoyed this video and you've got any other ideas of your own, drop them in the comments, as it's great to let other people know what's going on, and hopefully you can help each other out. I will leave it there. Have a wonderful week or day, evening, weekend, whatever you're doing, and I will speak to you all really, really soon. Bye!